You've seen the movie, you definitely know the name, and I bet you've heard the challenge that has become an absolute legend in the sales world. So today, we're going to break down the system behind that legend, Jordan Belfort's straight line method. We are going to unpack the exact blueprint hiding behind all that bravado.
And yeah, it all comes down to this one really aggressive question. But you know, what most people miss is that behind all that swagger, there is a literal blueprint. Belfort argues this isn't just some clever trick. It's the key to a super powerful and repeatable system that can turn pretty much anyone into a world-class closer.
Okay, so the entire system is built on this one seemingly simple idea. But what does that actually mean? Every sale is the same. Well, it doesn't mean every customer is the same. Of course not. Their needs, their values, their problems, that's all different. What it does mean is that the core things you have to line up in a prospect's mind to get them to say yes are always the same, no matter what you're selling.
And get this, the entire process, controlling that whole sale, it begins right here. In the first 4 seconds of talking to someone. That's it. 4 seconds. You have just 4 seconds to set the stage for everything that's about to happen. So what could you possibly get done in just 4 seconds?
Well, in those 4 seconds, you have to establish these 3 things immediately. 1, that you are sharp as a tack and you're not going to waste their time. 2, that you're enthusiastic, and not in some loud, annoying way, but with a kind of bottled enthusiasm that just suggests you have something truly compelling. And 3, and this is the most important one, you are an expert. I mean, think about it. We're all conditioned to listen to experts, right? Like a doctor. When you walk into their office, who's in control? They are. They ask the questions, you answer. That's the dynamic you have to create.
So once you've established that expert control, what's the actual goal? Well, according to Belfort, sales at its highest level is simply this, the transference of emotion. And the single most important emotion you need to transfer from your gut to your prospect's gut is absolute, unwavering certainty.
And look, this certainty thing isn't just one big blob. It has to exist in 3 key areas. Belfort calls them the 3 10s. So on a scale of 1 to 10, the prospect has to be at a 10, totally certain about the product itself. They also have to be a 10 on you, the salesperson. They've got to trust you. And finally, they have to be a 10 on the company behind it all. If even one of these is a little shaky, the sale's just not going to happen. Okay, so that all sounds great in a perfect world. But we all know sales isn't that clean, right? What happens when the prospect isn't at a perfect 10 on all 3 of those things and they start pushing back with objections?
And this gets to one of Belfort's core beliefs. He argues that people rarely say what they actually mean. So objections like, let me think about it, they're not the real problem. They're just smokescreens. They're smokescreens for the real issue, which is always a lack of certainty in one of those 3 areas. They just don't trust the product, you, or the company enough. Yet.
So how do you handle these smokescreens? The technique is called looping. You don't argue with the objection. No. You briefly acknowledge it, say something like, I hear you, and then you loop right back into your presentation to build more certainty. If you get the feeling the problem is the company, you pivot to a story about the company's amazing track record. You see, you're solving the real hidden problem, not just the excuse they're giving you on the surface.
And this leads to a brilliant way to picture the whole system. Belfort compares a salesperson to a safecracker. You're not trying to break in with brute force. You're just trying to precisely line up the numbers in a combination lock so the door just swings open for you.
And that combination has 5 numbers. Now, the first 3 are the 3 10s we just talked about. The 4th number is their action threshold. That's basically just their natural resistance to making a decision. You can lower that by making the whole process super easy and emphasizing the massive upside. The 5th, and maybe the most powerful, is their pain threshold. You have to find their core problem, their pain, and gently amplify it, showing them that doing nothing will only make that pain worse. You line all 5 of those up, and the safe just swings open.
Okay, so we have the structure, right? You establish control, you build certainty, and you handle objections by looping. But what powers it all? What's the fuel in the engine? Well, it's not the words you say. It's this kind of secret language of influence that works on a totally unconscious level.
It all comes down to tonality. See, Belfort argues that how you say something is way more important than what you say. It's the unspoken language that actually transfers that feeling of certainty. For example, there's the I care tonality. It's that little drop in your voice, that genuine sincerity that just says, hey, I am on your side. Or the implied obviousness tone, when you say something like, and of course the benefit here is, as if it's a total no-brainer. These are the tools that let you bypass the logical brain and talk directly to the emotional brain.
And that really brings us to the final, crucial point here. The system gives you all the tools, but Belfort's ultimate message is that the biggest barrier we face is often ourselves. So the question this whole system leaves us with is this: what's the story you're telling yourself, and is it the one that's going to help you open the safe?